Modern international football is defined by high-impact physicality. Strikers today hit the ball with a force that leaves defenders almost no time to react. Since the early 2000s, the speed and frequency of these attacks have increased, leading to a steady rise in offensive production on the world stage. This line graph shows the average goals per match climbing from 2.52 in 2002 to 2.69 in 2022. By 2026, that number peaked at 2.91. We are now seeing more goals scored than in any other edition of the tournament this century. This surge in scoring has narrowed the margin for error in the back line. To survive the knockout rounds today, a team must move beyond general defensive setups and commit to a specific, highly disciplined architecture. To understand how to survive this era, we look at the two definitive defensive solutions used by Spain during their World Cup wins. Both of these squads finished their tournaments by lifting the World Cup trophy, yet they achieved it in vastly different eras of the game. The first anomaly is the 2010 squad. They conceded only 2 goals during a tournament where the average scoring rate was just 2.27 goals per match. The 2026 squad, however, conceded just 1 single goal, despite playing in a much higher scoring environment, ending their run with a 1-0 win over Argentina. This creates a choice for modern managers. Do you try to control the ball to prevent attacks from ever happening, like 2010, or do you build a wall to absorb them, like 2026? The 2010 model is built on a single idea: possession as protection. This tactical board shows the system in action. Utilizing relentless short passing triangles trains the team to hold over 70% possession. When you have the ball this much, opponents physically cannot score. That lack of opportunity allowed Spain to finish with only 2 goals conceded. But this strategy requires a heavy trade-off. This kind of defensive possession is often sterile, meaning it limits the team's own ability to create chances. This is why the 2010 squad only scored 8 total goals across the whole tournament, forcing them to survive on the thinnest of margins in every match. And if that possession web ever breaks, the team becomes entirely dependent on their goalkeeper. In 2010, that meant relying on Iker Casillas to make one-on-one saves with the game on the line. The 2010 blueprint prioritizes risk aversion. It demands a level of technical passing talent that few squads in history have ever possessed. The 2026 blueprint operates on the opposite principle: active box domination. Rather than fighting for the ball in midfield, this squad drops into a rigid defensive block designed to absorb the pressure of modern vertical attackers. The result was a defense that allowed only 1 goal against some of the most efficient offensive teams in tournament history. Look at this tactical heat map. By conceding midfield territory, the defense purposefully invites the opponent to attack, using the crowded space just outside the penalty area to suffocate their movement. The trade-off here is the constant pressure. Inviting the opponent into your final third means you have 0 room for a single individual mistake. This system was built around Unai Simón, who maintained a 649-minute unbeaten streak to win the tournament's Golden Glove. The 2026 blueprint shows that a team can survive a high-scoring era by mastering the penalty area, as long as they have the individual shot-stopping talent to sustain that pressure. However, maintaining a defensive wall in an expanded 48-team tournament carries a significant physical cost. To stop modern transitions before they reach the box, defenders have to commit to high-intensity challenges and tactical fouls. This aggression leads to a much higher rate of altercations and disciplinary actions, putting key players at risk of missing vital matches. The data backs this up. In 2026, we saw a massive spike to 16 red cards tournament-wide, including straight reds and second yellows in the final. While this modern wall is effective, it requires a squad to play constantly on the edge of a disciplinary crisis. Both systems work, but for different reasons. 2010 used the ball to keep the opponent away, while 2026 used the box to keep the opponent out. We can map these choices on a matrix. On one axis, we have midfield control. On the other, we have box defense. Mapping these choices reveals why the 2 models are so distinct. Spreading a squad's focus across both midfield control and box defense often dilutes the effectiveness of each. These 2 Spanish teams succeeded because they committed to the extreme ends of the strategy, rather than trying to balance them. Choosing a quadrant forces a manager to commit to a specific identity. Success requires going all in on either technical control or physical fortification. Deciding which of these blueprints to follow depends entirely on the specific profile of the players in your squad. If your roster is full of technical, high IQ midfielders who lack physical size, the 2010 possession model is the logical path. But you have to accept the tactical price. You will be winning low-scoring games and will likely struggle to break through teams that sit deep. If instead you have physical, disciplined center backs and an elite shot stopper in goal, the 2026 model is your best fit. The trade-off here is a lack of control. You have to be comfortable spending long periods without the ball, while carefully managing the fatigue and fouls that come with active defending. There is no single perfect defensive system. There is only the defense that matches your squad's strengths and the specific tactical price you are willing to pay to win.